Howdy friendos, my name is Stuart and welcome to part 2 of our video game dive, and today we'll be looking at one of the most requested characters I get, and that is Link from the Legend of Zelda series. To those who have never watched a single video essay on YouTube, the Legend of Zelda series is one of the most famous game series from Nintendo. In February 1986, Nintendo released the first ever Legend of Zelda game. In this, you play as a green kid named Link, and you are tasked with saving the land of Hyrule. You do this by exploring caves, delving into dungeons, fighting monsters, and saving a princess from a pig monster. Obviously, the games have evolved throughout the years, and the story has gotten bigger as the game universe gets developed. As the series continued, a timeline was established, for better or worse, and lore was created to explain how there always seems to be a Link, a Zelda, and a Ganon despite all of the games taking place in what seems like wildly different Hyrules. As the story goes, each of our three characters are reincarnations of ancient gods and figures. Zelda being the reincarnation of the goddess of Hylia, and whose powers were determined by her bloodline. Ganondorf is the reincarnation of the Demon King Demise, and Link is actually sort of the odd one out. Most of the Links come from different eras and backgrounds, but most of them are rather unassuming figures who ascend to greatness through their deeds. Most of them share similar traits, and all of them seem to possess the spirit of the hero. Now, I am not a Zelda expert, and I will never pretend to be one, but basically speaking, almost every Link is from a different era and time, and the lore that is created is basically made to yada yada the fact that each games keep getting a change in map and art direction. Don't think too hard about it and just have fun playing the games. Despite the fact that each Link comes from a different era, there are a few who do carry on from game to game. The Link that we'll be looking at today is the most famous of these, and arguably the most important one, and one I believe to have the most tragic history, and that is the Link from the Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, and Twilight Princess, otherwise known as the Hero of Time. The Hero of Time Link, who we're just going to call Link, grew up in the Kokiri forest, believing that he was one of the mystical fairy people. However, he did not possess a fairy companion, leaving him to be ostracized by most of the inhabitants, with the exception of his best friend Saria and the Great Deku Tree. In reality, he was actually left as a baby in the forest by his mother fleeing the Hyrule Civil War, which means that Link would eventually grow up and need to leave the forest anyway. Our Link then spends most of his childhood in the Kokiri forest until he is eventually called to adventure by the Great Deku Tree, as he sends Navi, a fairy, to Link's home shortly after his 10th birthday to save the land of Hyrule from Ganondorf, the King of Thieves. Because this Link is basically just a kid in a forest who literally had no idea he was born a Hylian, and he has no clue what he was destined to do, we will start this Link out at true neutral. Despite the multiple timeline shenanigans, this Link story is surprisingly straightforward, and if I'm being honest, not all that interesting. At least, not until Majora's Mask came along and really helped flesh out his character. We will also be drawing some information from the official Hyrule Historia, along with a few assumptions that we can make based on pre-established lore. Just gonna let you guys know ahead of time, this is actually my favorite Link, and Majora's Mask is, way beyond my favorite Zelda game. Friendly biases ahead and all that. And with that out of the way, let's go. Waking up from a nightmare by Navi, Link is summoned to speak with the Great Deku Tree. He complies with this and his childhood bully Mido's demands of getting a sword and a shield. Link then rushes off to speak with his tree dad, lawful neutral. Meeting the Great Deku Tree, Link is told that a vile evil has been plaguing Hyrule and has cursed the Great Deku Tree. Despite the dangers, our hero goes inside his tree dad, tests his courage, and beats the parasite queen, Goma, lawful good. Despite Link's best efforts, the Great Deku Tree is too far gone to be saved. Before passing, the Great Deku Tree tells Link of the Triforce and Ganondorf, the root of Hyrule's evil. With a final wish and Mido blaming him for the tree dad's death, Link says goodbye to his one childhood friend, Saria, and then rushes off to Hyrule Castle with an ocarina and a song. Neutral good. Nat 1 exposition. No one ever liked this thing. Arriving at Hyrule Castle, Link sneaks, or can bribe, his way past the guards to see the princess. Meeting with a young Princess Zelda, he learns of her prophetic dreams and catches a glimpse of Ganondorf visiting the castle. With none of the adults believing Zelda, the two children plot to stop Ganondorf's plans, with Zelda protecting the Ocarina of Time while Link secures the Sacred Stones. Chaotic good for basically pulling a B&E, I guess. So Link has a lot of side quests he can do throughout Hyrule. We're just gonna do a quick list of some of them.
Link helps Longline Ranch by doing odd jobs, and then getting Talon back on the streets. He learns of the Pota song and bonds with Talon's daughter Malon. While helping several villagers in Kokiri Village, Link contains a swarm of murderous chickens. Link helps an eccentric salesman of masks with his business, one of which is a native of the Lost Forest, the Skull Kid. We'll get into that later. And throughout his travels, Link helps a family of cursed Skulltulas by killing the golden Skulltulas. This is able to lift the curse from their family and return everyone to normal.
Neutral good, twice. After equipping himself for the journey ahead, Link heads up to the Goron village. Meeting a grumpy Goron leader named Darunia, Link plays politician and bard and mends Hylian and Goron relationships through Saria's song. One happy jig later, and our hero is able to gain access to Dodongo's lair. Lawful good. Slaying King Dodongo, Link saves the Gorons and the mountain from Ganondorf. Darunia proclaims his newfound brotherhood with our hero, giving him the Goron Ruby and some advice to seek out the Great Fairy Fountains to get stronger. Neutral good. Entering Zora's domain, Link learns that the Princess Ruto has been swallowed by Lord Jabu Jabu, the recently cursed Lake Guardian. Entering the belly of the beast, Ruto is insistent on staying until they cure the Zora Guardian and get back the Sapphire. Link protects her from all the hazards and has to toss her around to progress. Chaotic good. Defeating the parasitic Baronade, Link actually saves Jabu Jabu and Ruto, unlike his attempt with the Tree Dad. The princess, channeling Nagatoro, gives Link the final sacred stone and an engagement present, to which he never honors. Chaotic good. Returning to Hyrule Castle, our hero sees a fleeing Zelda and Impa. With almost no time to react, Link comes face to face with Ganondorf, who has just overtaken the kingdom. Despite threats from the King of Darkness, Link tries to protect Zelda, stalling the Great King of Evil before getting swatted. Neutral good. Link finds the Ocarina of Time after Zelda had tossed it into the moat. Getting the Princess Leia message and melody from Zelda, he is told to rush to the Temple of Time. I guess he also just ditches Saria's Ocarina since we don't see it again? Anyways, Link obeys Zelda's orders and opens a portal to the Sacred Realm and obtains the Master Sword. Too bad Ganondorf stuck around to follow him. Oops, lawful good. As Ganondorf tries to claim the Triforce, it splits into 3 parts. Link gains the Triforce of Courage and remains trapped in the Sacred Realm for 7 years in order to wield the sword and the Triforce. Rauru, I believe that's how it's pronounced, the Sage of Light, and Sheik, the last of the Sheikah clan, as well as Link's latest exposition machine, christen him as the Hero of Time. He is then tasked with stopping Ganondorf and purifying the temples. Something Link obeys. Lawful good. Exploring Dark Hyrule as an adult, Link comes to Lon Lon Ranch, now owned by Ingo, courtesy of Ganondorf. Having befriended Epona when he was younger, Link is able to expertly ride Epona, earning money and Epona herself after Ingo bets them in a horse race. When Ingo tries to lock Link up, our hero commits Grand Theft Horse and escapes. Chaotic neutral. Returning to a monster-infested Kokiri village and unable to find Saria, Link battles his way through the Forest Temple. Beating Phantom Ganon in a game of energy ball tennis, our hero saves his home and Saria, who is one of the 7 sages he was looking for. Saria, however, must stay behind, and Link loses his childhood friend. Neutral good. Climbing Death Mountain, Link learns from his Goron nephew that Darunia has gone to save the captured Gorons in a suicide mission. After getting a snazzy red tunic, Link reunites with Darunia, who begs his Hyrulean brother to save the captured Gorons while he battles Volvagia? Link not only saves the Gorons, but slays the dragon. Death Mountain is saved, but Darunia chooses to stay behind in the Sacred Realm for his brother and to save the world. Lawful good. Coming to a frozen tundra that was once the Zora domain, Link learns Ruto has gone to the Water Temple. Gearing up with a blueberry-flavored tunic, Link finds his fishy fiancé. Link battles his inner demons and the puzzles before purifying the Water Temple. Like before, Ruto becomes the next sage and gives up on her engagement with her betrothed. But the Zoras are saved. Chaotic good. For totally ditching Ruto. How could you, Link? How could you? Also, she's kind of hot. I mean, like, I ain't really into the fish girls, but... Arriving to Kakariko Village in flames, Link protects Sheik from a shadow spirit. The two talk with Sheik revealing Impa has gone to the next temple. Link follows, beating the terrifying boss Bongo Bongo, and allowing Impa to become the next sage. Neutral good. After riding into Gerudo Valley like a boss, Link saves a group of imprisoned carpenters at the all-female Gerudo Fortress. If I recall, some of them weren't exactly happy to be saved. If I'm thinking right, I can't remember. He dispatches all of the guards and saves them all. His skills impress the Gerudo, who offer him membership to the Thieves Guild and the chance to meet Ganondorf's second-in-command at the Spirit Temple, Noboru. Neutral good. Discovering that the Spirit Temple is blocked off in the present, Link travels back to the past, meeting a younger Ganondorf hating Noboru. Link admits his feelings towards the King of Evil and forms a partnership with her. Our hero promises to steal some silver gauntlets, with Noboru promising him something great. Lawful good. That's a kid. I don't like that. Making his way through several defenses as a child, Link gets the silver gauntlets. Realizing what power he could have as an adult, Link actually keeps his promise with Noboru and goes to see her. Lawful good. Link returns to see Noboru kidnapped by Ganondorf's teachers, Komue and Katoke. Despite Noburu's warnings to save himself, Link goes back to the future and battles his way through the temple again. Freeing a bewitched Noburu, our hero beats Twin Rova. Like before, Noburu stays at the Sacred Realm, unable to fulfill her promise. Neutral good. Returning to the Temple of Time, Link discovers Sheik was Zelda the whole time. Gasp! Both have pieces of the Triforce and are ready to stop Ganondorf together. Unfortunately, Ganondorf was once again watching and kidnapped Zelda. Y'all really need to lock the door whenever you conduct business in the Temple of Time, guys. Lawful good. Challenged by Ganondorf to stop him and save Zelda, Link rushes to Hyrule Castle. With the help of the sages, Link is able to break through the barrier and come face to face with the King of Evil. One private organ concert, energy tennis game, and the world's most hardcore escape room later, Link protects Princess Zelda as they escape. Neutral good. After surviving an entire castle falling on him, a very alive Ganondorf uses the Triforce to become Ganon. Link battles the King of Evil before delivering an absolutely nat 20 finishing blow with the Master Sword. Weakened, this timeline's Ganondorf is sealed by the sages into the Void of Evil. Ganondorf swears he'll return. No doubt he'll get another head injury from some other kid in green. Whoever that could be. Watch the previous week's video. Lawful good. With a final thank you from Zelda, Link is set back in time prior to Ganondorf's takeover. With no Triforce or Master Sword, Link only has his memories of the original timelines. Unable to return to the adult timeline, Link loses the last bit of his childhood as Navi now leaves without a word. Link chooses to immediately go to Zelda and tell her everything. Lawful good. With Link's warning and Zelda's help, Ganondorf's coup is either thwarted or stalled. With Hyrule safe in the future and the present secure, but with no home to return to, Link chooses to look for the last piece of his old life, Navi. With Zelda's blessing, the Ocarina of Time, a song, and Epona, I guess Zelda and/or Malon insisted on giving it to him, Link goes to look for his friend. Neutral good. While traveling, Link is horse-jacked by a masked Skull Kid. With no ocarina and no horse, Link gives chase, falling into a parallel dimension of Termina. When he catches up with Skull Kid, our Hyrulean hero is cursed into a Deku scrub. This is not Link's day. Neutral. Left, on accident, with a fairy companion of Skull Kid's named Tattle, Link temporarily teams up with her to get out of the caves and to learn the ropes of his Deku form. Lawful good. Finding themselves in the clock tower, Link is approached by a happy mask salesman. Oh, hey, remember him? Who has been following him from the beginning. Ooh. The salesman reveals that he can cure Link as long as he gets his ocarina back within 3 days. The price? Skull Kid's new mask. With no choice left, Link agrees. Lawful neutral. I'm sorry, can we talk about how good these title cards are? The fact that we still meme these things to this day means that this game did something absolutely right. How is it that a simple noise and less than 2 lines of text can be so chilling? Holy hell, nat 20 thing. Discovering Skull Kid is at the top of the clock tower that is open only on day 3, Link helps the people of Termina and prepare himself. He plays with the bombers, buys the deed for a Deku flower to get to the Skull Kid, and does what he can in his limited form. Just neutral good. Link rushes in to face Skull Kid, the moon threatening to impact Termina. Tail, Tattle's brother, reveals 4 areas of importance before Skull Kid smacks his fairy friend aside and begins calling down the moon. With time running out and remembering the Song of Time, Link gets and uses the Ocarina of Time to travel back to the dawn of the first day. Neutral. With the Happy Mask salesman's help, Link is cured, obtaining the Deku mask. However, Link admits that he wasn't able to get the Skull Kid's mask. The Happy Mask salesman freaks out, admitting that the mask, Majora's Mask, will destroy the world within 3 days. With this knowledge, Link agrees to stop Skull Kid, by any means necessary. Lawful good. Just like in Ocarina of Time, Link is able to help out a lot of people in solving their issues, so we'll quickly go through some.
Link purifies a father who has been transformed into a Gibdo. He plays for a bar to help ease the pain of the patrons. He helps another person cursed by the Skulltulas. He starts a new dance craze and helps the spirit pass. And eventually, he helps the ranch owner, Cremia, from bandits. Just as Cremia says, every good deed makes a child become an adult.
Neutral good, twice. Traveling to the swamp and the Deku Palace, Link learns that the waters have been poisoned and the Deku princess is missing. With a monkey being blamed, Link sneaks in with the Deku mask and dispatches the guards. Learning that the princess is in the Woodfall Temple and the monkey is going to die, Link rushes off to the temple. Chaotic good. Link battles his way through the Woodfall Temple, utilizing the Deku mask and beating Odalwa. Whisked to another realm, he unintentionally rescues one of the 4 giants who can save Termina. Promising to free the others, Link finds and returns the Deku princess back home. Lawful good. Coming to the now icy mountain home of the Gorons, Link finds that the Elder and local hero are missing and the remaining Goron are starving, freezing, and enduring a crying baby. While exploring, Link finds the grave and ghost of Darumani III, hero of the Gorons. Darumani pleads with Link to revive him or at least heal his sorrows. Unable to bring the dead back, Link uses the Song of Healing to transform Darumani's spirit into a new mask. Neutral good. Link assumes Darumani's identity to help the Gorons. He finds and frees the Goron Elder, settles the Elder's son with a lullaby, and even goes to the temple, battling the masked monster Goat. Link is able to save the Gorons and thaw the mountains. This gets him enough praise to be nominated as the new Goron Elder. Oh dear, chaotic good. While saving Termina, Link rediscovers Epona at Romani Ranch. Meeting Romani, who looks suspiciously like Malin, Link is asked to help protect the ranch. However, this isn't bandits or monsters. Link battles until dawn from alien abductors. Thanks to him, Link is able to save the cows and the Romani from being captured. Just wow, what a side quest. Coming to the Great Bay and finding an injured Zora off the coast, Link helps the Zora to shore, introducing himself as Mikau. The Zora explains that he was injured trying to save his girlfriend's eggs from the Gerudo pirates. Through song! Wounded fatally, Mikau asks Link to save the eggs and heal his spirit. Playing Song of Healing, the Hero of Time allows Mikau to rest and transform into the Zora mask. Although brief, Link marks Mikau's grave. Neutral good. Much like Darumani, our hero poses as Mikau to ease the pain of the Great Bay. Infiltrating the Gerudo fortress, Link takes back the Zora eggs. Learning a new song from the tadpoles, he plays Lulu, the Zora girlfriend, and the song of her Zora babies and reawakens the giant turtle and her voice. Taken to the Great Bay Temple, Link battles Georg and jams out with Mikau's band in victory. Chaotic good. Arriving at Ikana Canyon, Link purifies the land of the dead. He also helps the spirit move on, rest, and in the case of Captain Kita of the Stall Children, finally leaves his post. He battles his way through the stone tower and defeats Twin Mold, freeing the last of the giants. Neutral good. Also, I would be remiss for not mentioning this. During his adventure, Link is hired to find a missing groom days before his wedding. Speaking with the bride, Anju, Link learns Kefke has been cursed into a child. With his wedding mask stolen, Kefke has been in hiding. Link does everything in his power to bring these two together, relaying messages, helping locate the thief's hideout, getting the mask, convincing Anju to stay. It's a tense mission that goes down to the wire. It's entirely possible to fail this mission and just see how crushed either party feels as they wait for their beloved. When you do succeed on the final day, staying with Anju, you pray that Kefke will make it. And just at the last minute, the two reunite at long last. Their love strong and marriage mask complete. The two stay together as the world ends around them. The biggest Nat 20 payoff to all Nat 20 side quests. Neutral good. Having readied himself over countless resets, Link confronts Skull Kid again and calls forth the giants. The moon is stopped, and Tattle and Tail are reunited and Skull Kid is knocked out. Only for Majora's Mask to keep moving. Shepherding itself to the moon to complete its destruction, Link and Tattle rush to the moon to put a stop to Majora's Mask. Neutral good. Link blasts off to the moon and is confronted by several odd children. Playing with them, Link gives them all of his masks but is gifted one himself, the Fierce Deity Mask. Wielding the terrifying powers of the mask, the Hero of Time is able to stop Majora's wrath and stop the fall of the moon. Nat 20 scene. With Termina saved, the giants return and everyone celebrates. Skull Kid, free of the mask, remembers Link and offers to play with him, apologizing to his friends. Majora's Mask, now free of evil, is returned to the Happy Mask Salesman. Oh yeah, remember him? Who thanks Link. With the land saved, Link decides to return to Hyrule and find Navi, saying goodbye to his old and new friends. Neutral good. Returning to Hyrule with a depowered Fierce Deity Mask as his proof of Termina, Link enrolls as a knight for Hyrule. He settles down, starts a family, and works hard to protect Hyrule. Lawful good. After all these years of battle with no one realizing his heroism in the adult timeline or Termina, Link begins to grow bitter and hold sorrow in his heart. He dies, unable to pass his teachings or ease his pain, something he had spent his life doing for others. The Hero of Time becomes a shade, wandering Hyrule and unable to move on. Neutral. Years later, the hero Shade comes across a new hero dressed in green. Recognizing this Link as his own descendant, the Shade offers to teach this new hero of Hyrule 7 techniques to protect the lands. The Shade insists on Link mastering these abilities, making sure he has a grasp on the old lessons before learning anything new. Lawful good. After passing on every sword technique he has to the latest Link, the Shade has no other reason to linger. Having passing on his teachings to his descendant, and Hyrule's future protected, Link, the hero of time, the savior of Termina, and Hyrule, moves on, neutral. The main and most obvious theme of the Hero of Time is the concept of healing, restoration, and the sacrifice needed to make that happen. The Hero of Time is my favorite Link in particular, not because he has the coolest powers or the best items, I mean he does, but that's not important, but because this Link is the hero that will not only save your life, but will also run to the store, get you a can of soup, toilet paper, and whatever medication you might need, all while spending the last of his own rupees. All of the Links are fairly selfless and good, but I'm pretty sure that this Link is also the one that sacrifices more of his own life, resources, and happiness for others than any other Link. In the Ocarina of Time, he sacrifices his childhood and innocence for the sake of Hyrule. In Majora's Mask, he sacrificed his own self-actualization and his own quest to find Navi and to help the people of Termina. Ocarina of Time is still a really good game, despite the modern discourse, but I think Majora's Mask is the reason that everyone remembers this hero so fondly. Thinking back just casually before I even started this video, I remembered so much more imagery from that experience, and the stress of the 3-day cycles was always much more engaging than the lighthearted open roaming that the Ocarina of Time allowed for. I think my favorite aspect of this Link is just how much he actually goes through. This Link really does get the short end of the stick, despite the fact that this is the hero of not one, not two, but 3 different realities. However, the most tragic part about all of this is the fact that ultimately, his efforts were in vain because Hyrule is destroyed in both of his timelines, and he dies full of regret and is practically nameless and without anyone ever really remembering him. The Hero of Time, despite all of his power, heroism, and sacrifice, is doomed to failure and sadness, and honestly, it makes this character so much more relatable than like any other Link. Sometimes, no matter how hard we try, and what we do right, and what we give up, there's just things outside of our control that doom us to a life of struggle and constant failure. My favorite Link is the Hero of Time because honestly, that's most of us. It's probably you, it's probably gonna be me. But it is what it is, and I wish I could end my video on a happier note, but if we're lucky, we keep pushing hard enough, we might get lucky enough to make the lives of our descendants better. Thank you to the patrons, thank you to our editor, and I'll see you all next time.